When reports of casualties from the conflict zone came in, paramedic Emma Walsh and her driver Connor thought they were responding to a normal emergency call. When they arrived at the scene while the conflict was still ongoing, a bullet hit Connor's shoulder and the ambulance crashed into a tree. "Connor's been shot very close to the heart," shouted the voice over the radio. But Emma was already treating Connor because that gunshot sound wasn't foreign to her. And in the next 45 minutes, everyone in the conflict zone would learn who Emma Walsh really was. Because some people wear paramedic uniforms, but actually have battlefield experience. Welcome to Hidden Legends. Before diving into this incredible story, tell us in the comments what city you're watching from today and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button to help us reach more viewers. Emma Walsh was the perfect paramedic at Metro Care Services. At 32 years old, she had been working with the same team for 5 years, never receiving complaints, quietly doing her job. Patients loved her because she was calm and reliable. Her colleagues trusted her because she stayed controlled in every situation. "Emma is our calmest paramedic," said team leader Captain Hernandez. "She never panics, stays cool-headed, even on the most dangerous calls." But Emma's ability to stay cool came from very different places than normal paramedic training. Emma's shift routine was exactly the same every minute. She started work at 8 a.m., checked the ambulance, prepared equipment, and responded to calls. But these checks were different from an ordinary paramedic. She assessed every situation with military precision, detecting potential threats in advance. Her colleagues noticed the depth of Emma's medical knowledge. "Emma, how do you assess trauma cases so well?" they would ask. "Experience," Emma would say briefly. She never went into details, never talked about her past. Emma's equipment was also different. Normal paramedics carried basic medical supplies, but Emma's bag contained battlefield-level medical materials, advanced trauma kits, combat medical supplies, equipment designed for dangerous zone conditions. Emma Walsh's real story began 15 years ago. She had joined the Army at 17. But why? Emma's older brother, Michael, had always wanted to be a soldier. Since childhood, he would watch military movies, read Army magazines, and always dream of becoming a soldier. But when he was 18, a heart condition took this dream away from him forever. He couldn't get medical clearance for military service. When Michael saw his dream shattered, Emma promised him, "Brother, I will fulfill your dreams. I will become the best soldier." When Michael died young at 22, Emma inherited all his military books and motivational quotes. That day, she made a promise to herself. "I will keep my brother's dreams alive. I will protect people in his place." When she joined the Army, she had gravitated toward combat medic. But after basic medicine, she was selected for advanced training. Special Operations Combat Medic Training. The most challenging program. Army Special Operations Combat Medic Training was 20 weeks of medical intervention training in active conflict zones. Emma was one of the most successful graduates of this program. Emma wasn't just learning medical intervention medicine in war zones, intervention under enemy fire, saving lives in conflict zones, decision-making under high stress. Most importantly, combat situational awareness and threat neutralization. Emma's combat medic training wasn't just basic intervention. Modern Army Special Operations medics received advanced combat medicine, battlefield trauma surgery, and hostile environment survival training. "A Special Operations medic's job isn't just treating wounds," said her instructor, Master Sergeant Collins. "You're the person making life and death decisions under enemy threat. You will save the patient even while the conflict continues." Emma had embraced this philosophy, producing solutions under threat, medical leadership in critical moments, staying calm in the presence of enemies. The hardest part of her training was active combat zone medical training, surgery under gunfire, casualty evacuation during enemy threats, medical intervention under combat stress. Emma had developed superior abilities in this area. Her first deployment was the Middle East Special Operations medical support at forward operating bases. Emma's most difficult intervention was saving a Special Forces team injured in an IED attack. She had stabilized 3 critical cases under enemy fire during an active firefight. Her second deployment was in a different region of the Middle East. Urban warfare medical support, high-threat environment operations. During this period, Emma had conducted the most complex combat medical operations in city wars under sniper threats, civilian casualty situations. Her third deployment was classified operations in Syria, counterterrorism medical support, hostage rescue medical backup. Over 12 years, Emma had saved 240 combat medical cases, never losing a single one under hostile fire. But the event that really changed her was a classified operation in Afghanistan. Emergency triage she established for civilian casualties during a terrorist attack. Emma had saved 12 people in 6 hours under active conflict, but during that operation, she had risked losing a young child. That night, lying in her base camp, she thought about her brother. She had promised herself, "Now I will protect people in civilian life. I will always be combat ready." After receiving an honorable discharge in 2019, Emma had transitioned to civilian life. She used PTSD therapy, veteran transition counseling, and career transition support. But Emma's goal was clear. Her experience in combat zones had directed her to protect people in civilian life. She wanted to prevent the kind of helpless situations her brother had dreamed of addressing. Paramedic work had been a perfect choice. It reminded her why she had chosen the medical field, but more importantly, it allowed her to be in a position where she could be ready for emergency situations and crisis moments in civilian life. When Metro Care Services hired her, Emma was overqualified. Paramedic license, 12 years of military medical experience, special operations, combat medic certification, but the hiring committee hadn't asked detailed questions. "I've always loved working in emergency medicine," Emma had said. And this time, she was genuinely sincere. Emma's duties in the ambulance seemed simple. Emergency response, patient transport, medical intervention. But Emma was doing much more. She assessed every emergency call with combat medic eyes. She detected potential threat indicators early. She identified signals of dangerous situations in advance. "Emma, how do you read emergency scenes so well?" asked her partner Connor Blake. "Situational awareness," Emma would say. "Signals from the environment tell you a lot." This situational awareness came from 12 years of combat zone experience. Special operations medics constantly assess threats, make quick decisions, coordinate teams in dangerous situations. Emma also knew the city's emergency patterns very well. High crime areas, gang territories, potential conflict zones. She had a complete threat assessment map of the city in her mind. On Saturday afternoon, April 15th, Emma and Connor were responding to routine emergency calls, a normal weekend shift, traffic accidents, and minor medical emergencies. At 3:30 p.m., an urgent call came from Dispatch Unit 47. Domestic dispute escalated to violence, shots fired, multiple casualties reported, Riverside District. Emma immediately became alert. Riverside District was gang territory. Recent tensions were high. Connor started the ambulance while looking anxiously in this neighborhood. Shots fired calls are usually gang conflicts. Emma calmly checked equipment. "Connor, protocol requires us to wait for police clearance, but if there are casualty reports, we should be on standby in close proximity." But Emma's mind had already shifted to combat mode. Her 12 years of experience had taught her to anticipate dangerous situations. As they approached Riverside District, they could hear gunshots. Active conflict was continuing. Connor was becoming increasingly nervous. "Emma, this is very dangerous. We should wait for police clearance." "Connor, there could be injured civilians. Let's stand by in close proximity, but at a safe distance." Emma checked the ambulance radio. "Dispatch, Unit 47 on scene. Active gunfire detected. Requesting police status. Unit 47. Police ETA 12 minutes. Maintain safe distance. But then something happened. A bullet hit the ambulance windshield. Then another. Stray bullets were coming from the conflict zone. Connor began to panic. Emma, we need to get out of here. Emma stayed calm. Connor, reverse gear. We're moving to cover. As Connor put the ambulance in reverse, a bullet broke through the passenger side window and hit Connor's left shoulder. Ah, I'm hit, Connor screamed, pulling his hand from the steering wheel. The ambulance went out of control and crashed into a big oak tree on the roadside. Emma immediately made an assessment. Connor, where are you hit? It hurts so much. Bleeding. Emma examined Connor. Bullet wound in left shoulder close to subclavian artery. Very dangerous location. Potentially life-threatening. Connor, listen to me. The bullet is very close to your heart. You won't move. Emma reached for the medical supplies in the back of the ambulance. Her combat medic training kicked in. Emma assessed Connor's wound. Bullet trajectory was 2 centimeters from the subclavian artery. High-risk bleeding. Possible vascular injury. Connor, I'm going to apply pressure. Focus on breathing. Emma used combat dressing techniques, direct pressure, hemostatic agents, vascular control. These were advanced trauma care techniques she had learned on the battlefield. Emma, is it really bad? Connor asked weakly. You're going to be stable, but you won't move. Emma established fourth access, started fluid resuscitation, vital signs monitoring, shock prevention protocols. This level of care was much further than normal paramedic training. But then footsteps could be heard from outside. Aggressive voices, multiple people approaching. Emma looked outside. 2 armed individuals were approaching the ambulance, weapons visible. Combat instincts immediately activated. Emma rapidly assessed the situation. 2 armed suspects, probably gang members, approaching the ambulance. Likely intention. Vehicle theft. Potential hostages. Connor unconscious, unable to defend himself. Emma alone, responsible for both their lives. Her special operations training initiated automatic response. Threat assessment. 2 suspects, handguns visible, approximately 20 m distance, approaching from different angles. Classic pincer movement. Emma evaluated options. Surrender. High probability of casualties. Hide. No viable cover. They'd find them. Engage. Use combat training. Decision made. Protect Connor. Neutralize threats. Emma quietly moved to the back of the ambulance, grabbed emergency tactical kit hidden in medical supplies. Items included restraint devices, tactical pepper spray, emergency defense tools. Her 12 years of special operations experience had taught her. Sometimes medical intervention requires threat elimination first. The first suspect approached the driver's side of the ambulance. Emma made a silent egress from the ambulance's back door. Special operation, silent movement techniques, combat breathing, stealth approach, tactical positioning. She approached the first suspect from behind. Sleeper hold application, pressure point control, weapons disarmament. Suspect immediately unconscious, safely restrained. The second suspect heard the commotion, turned toward the ambulance. Emma was already in flanking position. Tactical pepper spray application followed by restraint techniques. Second suspect neutralized without permanent injury. Both threats secured in under 90 seconds. Connor barely conscious. Didn't see the engagement. Emma safely restrained both suspects with emergency medical supplies. Total time. Threat identification to neutralization 3 minutes. After threats were neutralized, Emma assessed the surrounding area. There were other casualties in the conflict zone. 200 m away, a civilian woman injured, gunshot, wound to leg. A teenager, possible shrapnel injury. Elderly man, Chest trauma. Emma performed rapid triage. Connor stable. Threat secured. Other casualties critical. Decision. Provide emergency care to all casualties. Emma moved to the first casualty with advanced trauma kit. Woman with GSW to femur. Arterial bleeding risk. Combat medicine protocols. Tourniquet application. Pressure dressing. Vascular control. Woman's bleeding stopped. Vital signs stabilized. Second casualty. Teenager with shrapnel wounds. Multiple lacerations. Potential internal injury. Emma. Careful assessment. Wound cleaning. Protective dressing. Third casualty. Elderly man. Blunt chest trauma. Possible rib fractures. Breathing difficulty. Emma airway management, breathing assistance, pain control. Police units arrived 18 minutes after the initial call. The scene they encountered, conflict ended. Multiple casualties receiving professional medical care. 2 suspects safely restrained. Lieutenant Garcia approached the ambulance. "Ma'am, what happened here?" "Lieutenant, active gunfire damaged our ambulance. My partner was wounded." 2 armed suspects approached with apparent hostile intent. I secured them and provided medical aid to casualties. "Ma'am, how did you handle 2 armed suspects?" Emma hesitated. Truth revelation moment. I have military background. Lieutenant, Special Operations Combat Medic, 12 years active duty. Lieutenant Garcia's expression changed completely. Special Operations. "Ma'am, what unit?" 75th Ranger Regiment, Special Operations Medical Support, Classified Operations. Lieutenant Garcia immediately called for backup medical units and senior command. "Ma'am, your partner's condition stable GSW to shoulder close to subclavian artery. Needs immediate surgery but not life-threatening currently. The other casualties triaged and stabilized. Woman needs vascular surgery. Teenager needs wound exploration. Elderly man needs chest imaging. The suspects secured with non-lethal force. Restraints applied. No permanent injuries. Police Supervisor Captain Gonzalez arrived. Military bearing recognized Emma's capabilities immediately. Medic Walsh, your response today was exemplary. Your background? Special Operations Combat Medic. 3 tours Middle East. Classified counterterrorism operations. Captain Gonzalez nodded respectfully. "Ma'am, you saved multiple lives today. Your unit would be proud." Connor was transported to the hospital. Surgery successful. Bullet missed major vessels. Full recovery expected. Other casualties also received appropriate medical care. Woman's vascular repair successful. Teenager's wound superficial. Elderly man's ribs fractured but stable. Emma visited Connor at the hospital. "Connor, how are you feeling?" "Emma, everyone's talking about what you did. Police said you handled 2 armed guys like a professional soldier." "Connor, I just did what was necessary to protect you." "Emma, who are you really?" Emma decided it was time for full disclosure. "Connor, I served 12 years Army Special Operations, Combat Medic, Dangerous Missions, Classified Operations." Connor was amazed. "You're like a real soldier." "I was. Now I'm a paramedic taking care of people like you." Metro Care Services Director Thompson held a meeting with Emma. "Emma, today's incident reports are extraordinary. Police, hospital staff, casualties, families, everyone praising your performance." "Thank you, sir. I did my job." "Emma, your military background. Why didn't you mention this during hiring?" "Sir, I wanted a fresh start. Civilian life, helping people differently." "Emma, your skills today. Tactical situation management, advanced trauma care, multi-casualty triage. This is beyond normal paramedic training. Special operations taught me adaptability, sir. Any situation, find solutions, protect people. Thompson was impressed. Emma, would you consider training our teams? Tactical emergency medicine, dangerous situation protocols. Emma considered, sir, I prefer field work, but training, yes, I can help. Emma was still working at Metro Care Services. Connor always preferred partnering with her. Emma's training program expanded. Other cities requested her expertise. Tactical emergency medicine for first responders. Police department started collaboration. Medical tactical cooperation. Joint training exercises. Emma's greatest achievement. Other veterans found inspiration. Transition programs. Veteran hiring initiatives. Service continues in civilian roles. Captain Hernandez. Emma, do you ever regret leaving your military career? Emma said while checking the ambulance. Captain, I served soldiers for 12 years overseas. Now I serve civilians here at home. Same mission. Emma pointed to patients. Yes, service never ends. Location changes. Mission remains protect people. Emma's story isn't just a heroism story. It's about military skills applied in civilian life. Continuation of service commitment. Evolution of protective instinct. Because sometimes the greatest warriors wear paramedic uniforms, drive ambulances, save lives on city streets. Connor working with Emma every shift, learning every day. Real heroes adapt their skills, continue serving, never stop protecting. The courage Emma showed that day in Riverside District didn't just come from combat training. It came from her determination to serve people in civilian life. I'm no longer a soldier, Emma would say. I'm a healer, protector, lifesaver. But that day, she had shown that sometimes you have to fight to heal, use skills to protect. So I ask you, do you know people around you who serve quietly, have military backgrounds, but remain modest? Are you curious about the hidden stories of emergency responders? Share in the comments. Because here at Hidden Legends, we believe real heroes can be found in the most ordinary jobs. If this story moved you, share it, subscribe, and help these important stories continue. See you in the next legend. And remember, the paramedic who helps you in the next emergency might have combat skills you never knew about. Real protectors change uniforms, but never change their mission. Save lives.